Today we're going to talk about fridges. Well, less talk and more drawing. There's an ID challenge running in my Discord, and the topic for this week was redesign a fridge. And it might seem very simple and banal, and that's also, I feel like, the hard part in it, because fridges are so already designed, like you know what it is, you know what it needs. So it's interesting to think about redesigning that. And I'm not going into this trying to come up with something totally new at all. I'm just trying to re-customize it a little bit for my taste and maybe just adjust it a little bit here and there. But mostly through this video, I really just want to go through the design process a little bit as well. So it's not just the sketching, it's more of the thinking. So whatever you will see in this video, this is all just to help me think. Like, these would be not drawings that I would necessarily present at the when I'm talking about design that I came up with. So this is mostly all just drawings for me to like, oh, okay, this looks interesting. What if I iterate and iterate and iterate on that? And usually I would spend much more time on each little idea. Anyways, let's get started with the drawings. Before we get started, I did a little bit of research and I looked at different sort of innovations that have been done in the field of fridges. So I just write these down quickly so I have sort of a guideline for myself. Now with these words down, I have sort of an idea that I want to go in. So the next step is going to just plot down some shapes, just the outside. So I'm going to concentrate on the minimalist and just put some shapes down what I think my fridge should look like. Okay, so my first idea regarding minimalism is that I don't want it to be super minimal. I want the door to be as clean as possible, but I do want to bring in an accent color. And while it's not gonna be red, I just want it to be something fun, because usually if you want a fridge to fit in a kitchen, it has to be relatively clean, it has to be relatively not really colorful, because many colors would clash in a kitchen. So I'm gonna use red in this case, but just to accent and to tell myself for future iteration to know that how I want to put down this color. Okay, so by keeping it simple and minimalist, what goes through my head is that we shouldn't really have anything protruding too much on the fridge, or if it's protruding, it sort of has this feeling that it belongs into the geometry of the fridge. And since the fridge is just a big box, something that I thought is maybe like if you would have sort of I don't know what it's called, but it's going around the fridge. Like you would have this feeling, and then you can use this as the handle to open it. Another one would be if you would have sort of a crevice in the door, where you can just reach in with your fingers and pull it from there. So I think what I like is this one, because here also the colored element is just too big for my taste, that it would overshadow everything. So if you have a white fridge and a huge colored element, that would be just too much for my taste. So I'm going to try and explore this, how thin, how thick this should be, and maybe if I can move it around. And this is where ideally I would take a lot of time and just really try out a whole bunch of sketches if I was going to try and come up with a final design. And also, you don't have to do the whole 3/4 and 3D views here. It's perfectly enough if you just do what I did in the beginning and you take those flat front views and then you just keep on iterating and iterating and iterating on them, because that's what you see when you look at the fridge. Fridges are usually halfway pushed into the whole kitchen furniture or into the wall, so it's rare that you see the size of of the fridge. The main selling point, at least from the outside, is how, that face. Of course, the main selling point of the fridge is how much space there is inside, how convenient it is, and all those things. So yeah, I would really push a lot of ideas, just minimal iterations where you can barely see that anything changes, just to see like those changing an angle here or an angle there really give you a different feeling. But as I said, this whole exercise is not about coming up with a fantastic fridge in the end. I just wanted to do a little bit of the exploration, ideation phase, where these drawings really are there to help you in the thinking, not in the end presentation, coming up with the end result. And what is also good, is good to mention, that it's nice to collaborate with people. It's always throw it in there and let people give you some feedback. That's why it's nice to do these sorts of challenges, because no matter what the focus of the challenge is, at least you start getting feedback and you start seeing other people's perspectives. And that is really valuable when you do something like this, because after a while you're like really stuck in what you're doing and you don't even see the differences. So I can really recommend doing just challenges in general. All right, so we have arrived to this one, the simplest one, and you would think that I'll just do that from the beginning. No, you have to get a lot of bad ideas out of your head before you go to something that you actually like. So I was also trying to put a screen in it, because if you look at most of the fancy schmancy modern fridges, they do have the screen in it, and I thought I want to really keep it minimal, so I'm not gonna put the screen in it. And then I finally was like, why am I painting the fridge a color if I could paint that indent a color? And that indent is basically you can grab in from both sides and just open the door. And that's what I was trying to symbolize there. Now, something that I want to touch about. So this is mostly everything that we're going to do with the outside, because yeah, it's a fridge, it's a box. And so one thing I didn't want, I could add that here as well. I wanted to keep it relatively compact, small. So not like a French door, which are like double doors. So compact. Okay, but one thing that I did like that I saw is this grab and go aspect. And I'm going to show a couple of pictures here, there, wherever. What I thought would be cool here if like we transform this upper area into a grab and go, or if we transform half of it. So that one I still want to think about when I start thinking about the inside of the fridge as well. But basically a grab and go is something like this. So basically the grab and go is that, so you don't want to open the whole fridge door, right? So that's why you have this smaller compartment, not department, that you can open separately, and then you can just grab the things that you use most often in your day. So a milk or orange juice or some hot sauces or whatever you have there that you don't want to open the whole fridge door just for a couple of things. So that I found to be quite a good little thing. Of course, your fridge door has to be like ultra thick. So that's something that I will have to think about next when I start thinking about the inside and adding the adjustable shelves, the herb storage, and the grab and go as well. And within this next step, I basically all I do is just try to map out in my head what a fridge is supposed to look like from the inside. I also stepped back took a look at our fridge, which is actually quite a small compact fridge, like even half of this. But yeah, so we, at least in my head, we have three main storages in the fridge itself, which is the veggie storage, which is usually at the bottom. You can pull out a big shelf and put a lot of things in there. Then you have all the shelf areas, which usually you can also adjust, make them higher, smaller, or lower, so you can so you can fit different type of pots and pans in there. And then on top, at least in our fridge, so that's why I did like this, it could be also on the bottom, we have a freezer area. And then in the door you usually have the same, like you have things that you can sort of click in or hang in, and a little bit also move around, so you can adjust that space depending on the size of your fridge. And that's where you usually have your juices, you have all your bigger bottles, milks, stuff like that is hanging in there. Now, of course, in our door, there's going to be this grab and go sort of option as well. So that's why I try to draw the side view as well, to see how thick that front side is going to be. And towards the end, I was thinking, well, because in our freezer, we usually just put in these small water containers that freeze and create the ice. But it might be cool to have just a separate ice area where you can just push a button and ice comes out, because a lot of modern fridges have that. Or if not, just a water dispenser, because I know a lot of fridges have that as well. So basically water runs through the fridge and gets cooled down as well. But I think ice is more important. So I'm still debating if that idea stays or not. And finally, I have decided to also just draw the 3/4 view that I like so much, because that's just how my brain works. For some reason, I can perceive things better in 3/4 views. But in this case, I just also wanted to concentrate on what's inside the fridge. So the outside of the fridge, the walls are sort of see-through, and you can see the 3 elements that I just mentioned before: the lower compartment for the veggies, then the shelves in between, also with some slots where you can push them in and out, so you can vary the distances in between them. And on top we have the freezer and the ice dispenser. This is also good just to show how this is assembled, what it's made out of. I make small notes like the plexiglass, like each shelf should be plexiglass, and how in the end I thought it might be cool to halve the veggie compartment down below. Well, not down below, but on the bottom, because maybe you don't want to waste all that space downstairs. Well, downstairs again at the bottom. And then I just drew the 3/4 view also of the opened grab and go area, which still, so here I did make a little mistake. I was talking with the guys and in the Discord about that. I did write here that it should be ice cream and stuff that can be stored there, but obviously ice cream has to go into the freezer. So you can have like candy bars or chocolate bars, whatever would melt. I actually like them nice and cold, so you can keep those there, and then the rest would be the juices and whatnot. And once again, I would probably like to explore this a bit more in further ideas, but I think for now, as a presentation, as what you can quickly achieve as ideas, that you can then, hey guys, shall we explore any of these ideas? You can present to a team, or you can present to your friends, and then they can either poop on it, or they can say, yeah, we like this, continue on this or that idea. So that's always nice to get a little bit of feedback like that. Yeah. Let's call this here. I do hope you enjoy this. I do hope you have a little bit more insight onto how thinking processes and ideation processes like these work. And really the sketching is not a big part. I show sketching because that's the interesting part, but I showed in previous videos as well that you have to do your research, and I looked into all sorts of interesting things, like what sort of innovations there are when it comes to fridge technology, if I can call it like that. So yeah, it's not just about sketching, it's about thinking, and sketching can help in thinking, of course. But yeah, with that, I wanted to thank you that you joined and watched this video. Don't forget, you can join our Discord as well, where you can join in these fun sort of challenges, and you can just talk with the community and get feedback, give feedback. It's just fun to hang out in general. As always, if you liked the video, you can hit that like button, but it's more important to hear from you. So I love to hear if you have any suggestions, or if you want to see something in the future. Thursday, again, there might be a live stream, so maybe we can continue on this one. Leave a suggestion what you want to see in the Thursday live stream as well. And as always, the most important thing is that you guys have a great time, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.